News Channel 8 at 8 starts now.
We're learning new evidence tonight of the link between severe head injuries and suicide risk. Over 2 decades, researchers from Canada analyzed patients with concussions. Those with head injuries were at least 3 times as likely as an average person to commit suicide. The average age of death was 44. Now, looking back on the big game yesterday, it's clear to say the Broncos' strong defensive line dominated the field and gave quarterback Cam Newton a run for his money and a lot of hard knocks on the field. But along with those hard knocks for any athlete also comes the risk of CTE, a degenerative brain disease caused by repeated blows to the head. Jen spoke with a local doctor caring for the USF Bulls football team.
That's right, 3 letters, CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And tonight, some things that you may not know about this disease and what to do if your child or maybe your husband experiences a hard blow to the skull, no matter what sport they play.
Dave Mirra, a legendary BMX biker, may have had CTE before committing suicide. Oakland Raiders Superbowl winning quarterback Ken Stapler was diagnosed with CTE as a stage 3 disease after his death. As a matter of fact, it's been reported to date as many as 90 former NFL players whose brains have been examined by Boston University have had CTE.
Soccer, football, lacrosse as well is very common. Any kind of contact sport. Basketball can be relatively common as well. Skiing.
Dr. Jeff Sellman is a certified impact consultant and advocate for concussion prevention. Today, he's seeing athletes at the University of Tampa.
Shrug your shoulders against me. Bite down. Ironically, younger athletes, this is the only injury we know of so far that they actually heal at a longer time than older athletes because their brain are not as developed.
One common misconception, even if you don't get knocked out, you can still have a concussion.
And in fact, an athlete does not have to have symptoms immediately to have a concussion, which is why the athletic trainer on the sideline is so important to be able to monitor the symptoms as you get a hit and then kind of watch the athlete and see what their symptoms are. But all concussions do not have to have an actual bruising. It's just that it's like kind of stunning somebody with a stun gun. The neurons or the brain cells that actually talk to one another no longer talk and communicate.
So what indicates a concussion?
You can't arouse them, that they pass out such that you cannot arouse them. Something they start having symptoms that get worse, nausea, vomiting, where they cannot stop.
As for recovering from a concussion, time is the key.
I tell my patients for high school and I tell my athletes here, 2 weeks is the average.
Now, the NFL has released information on the number of concussions this season, and the numbers are surprising. There were 271 concussions in pro football this season, up 206 from a year ago. That's an increase of 32%. The information comes from all preseason and regular season games, as well as practices since the start of training camp. Of the 271 concussions in 2015, 234 occurred in games. 37 happened in practice. Some very scary numbers, guys.
A lot of research going into that very thing, though. So
we're going to hear more and more about that.
All right, checking the forecast.